My relationship with music. I think in short words, my relationship with music is and has been just a journey. Something that I realized that everything that has happened in life in general has helped shape who I am musically, professionally, as a person, husband, believer. But music is special to me, man. It's a language within itself, and you know, there were a lot of times where I could say early on, especially, discouragement was easy, you know, or the journey might have been a little rough, where I wasn't sure, I guess, how successful I would be in it, or if I was even gonna see anything in return for it, because I just invested so much of my heart into it. And but once I really just focus on just giving back everything that I have to God and being all that He wanted me to be, you realize that the grind is a part of that. You realize that everything that you go through, despite circumstances or discouragement, help build you. I often say you can allow something to motivate you or devastate you, and that's what it was. And once you focus on keep going and not the results, then you start to see stuff happen. So I just finished up the song called Be Okay. It's going on this secret EP called Hope that you guys don't even know about it. And I'm pretty sure the team doesn't really even know. They probably have an inkling that I'm working on something, but you know, they don't know when it's coming out or how soon. But yeah, nobody knows. So just finished a song called Be Okay. One of my favorite songs on the new EP, Hope. And this is for a behind the scenes perspective, interaction, and man, like, yo, I can't wait for you guys to hear it, even though you don't even know about it yet. So yeah, this joint's called Be Okay. And yeah. So today is Tuesday, May the 18th? 19th. So yeah, can't wait for you guys to hear it. Doses. So we talk about the early days, like way back machine. I remember just, you know, always having a passion and zeal for music. You know, music was something that I always felt I could just naturally just do. And I've always been grateful to God for that. I remember before I even had the drum set, I was playing, you know, boxes and pans and stuff like that, and each one had to have a different sound because I wanted different combinations. And I always just loved the sound of music and drums and piano and all those things, especially growing up in church.
If I could describe Legend the way I would definitely say kind, generous, loving, authoritative. I know in high school, with his music, like, he loved it. Like, being in music class was like a joy for him, because I can remember us being in the music class. We wouldn't really have a structure in music, I don't believe, but all I can remember is him being on them drums. Him and his friends on the piano, but he was like really crazy on the drums, and I think that he was like I think it was joy for him to be on the drums, and that's one thing that I really liked.
A moment where I knew I was built for this. I guess it's been, and I've always said, man, like, God is giving you, I think He gives everybody a moment, or at least one. I've had the pleasure of having a couple where he's kind of shown you what you're built or made to do. And I remember this one particular moment being in high school, and we had to do this chemistry assignment. And mind you, in high school I was known for playing drums on the drum line, catered on the drum line, played a set in high school, but not a lot of people knew that I rapped. And the thing was, we had this chemistry assignment where we had to make a song with the periodic table elements. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I do. Like, music is what I do, man. Like, we could do this. And it was a group assignment. And what happened was, we picked the Forever beat. So this lets you know the time period, which shout out to Drizzy. But we picked the Forever beat. So I wrote the rap in like 7 minutes, and my friend was supposed to say it, and he was reading it, but he wasn't reading it with like the, you know what I'm saying, like the flair that he's supposed to. And I still remember it. And it was, I'm a rap artist in the crowd, I stay pleasing them. IMG, you could call me magnesium. Chemistry so heavy, everybody stay jocking him. About to make the track breathe, you could call it oxygen. And the kid is a monster from the planet Krypton. And the good grade, man, I'm just trying to get mine. So as I'm saying this out loud, like yo, this how it go. Like, I see the room just got dead quiet, and I look up, and like my classmates are looking at me. It was like kind of this moment, like, oh, like you can do this. Like you actually sound like decent. And it's like, yo, man, just like moments like that have shown me that I was built for this, and God like had something that he called me for.
I like the fact that he seemed so happy and joyful when he was in music. Not saying like going to school wasn't something that he desired like in other classes, but I believe that music really brought calmness, really brought security, really brought, wholeness to him. And it's only because I believe that's something that God has put in him to draw people close to him is music. And I feel like even if it's not a music garnered by Christ, just the fact that God has built him to be an example in music, that even in high school, when I didn't even know that he was a man of God, when I didn't even know that music drawed others to Christ, him being on that drum drew me to him.
Remember early on, like, music just always being a part of my life. I remember when I first went into middle school, people somehow word got around that I beatbox. And, people just come on to me, yo, I bet you can't do this song, you can't do this song. And when I would do it, it was like, oh, snap, like, yeah, like, whatever. And it was always a fun time.
Kenny was always really creative with music. When he was younger, he was creating beats and just going around the house, banging on pots and pans, banging on the table, making beats. And he would pick up a keyboard and he'd just start playing a song. He never had a lesson whatsoever. He also started writing poetry, which kind of like made a segue to him writing songs. And one of the songs was extremely popular in church. The younger kids used to love to sing it. I won't mention the title, but he was just always really creative with his music, with not just the music itself, but also lyrically. He showed great promise.
I mean, just to think about who we listened to, coming up. Who we listened to was very different than what typical people I was hanging out with. He was hanging out with, listened to. When he went to high school, they gave him a laptop, and he filled everything, every type of music you could find, he had on his laptop, from rock and roll to R&B to rap, but the rap was different, you know what I'm saying? Obviously him being who he was alone, he would have a variety of music, but he's studying people like Lupe Fiasco, studying people like, Sway, and studying people like Eminem, while at the same time still introducing me to people like T.I., still introducing me to people like Young Jeezy, you know what I'm saying? But you can see the influence on his pen of who he really admired versus who he listened to. I feel like he liked certain concepts from these certain artists, right? Because he could relate to certain struggles that they brought through, like T.I. But the strategicness and the just focus that certain artists had, like M, like a Kanye had, he really focused in on. You even look at his music now; he creates his own music. Who does that sound like? It sounds like Kanye West. You know what I mean? Like, you see what type of people he likes by the focus they put in their music, as opposed to more loose and broad things. So when you look at his topics, they're not loose, they're very focused, just like the artist that he admired.
So Legend's creative process, he's like laser focused. The dude is methodical. I think that there's an intensity that when he plays live, that there's a switch that goes on. Like I say this to him all the time, that like literally he's so chill as like when you're hanging with him, but the minute he gets on the stage or the minute he gets in the booth, there's a switch that happens. And knowing that the guy is he's so laser focused. I mean, he'll put down a take that I think is perfect. I mean, I remember we were sitting in the living room and I'm sitting there recording my phone. He did this perfect take, and I remember he did it 10 times after that. And I would have never thought he could have got it better than the time he did. And it's what you hear now. It's what you hear now on the album. So, and I believe it's connected to purpose. You know, everybody's kind of designed a certain way. Everybody's wired a certain way. And when you're in your purpose, it's just a different feeling. You know what I mean? Something takes over. And, I think one of the cool parts also is the kind of the talks behind the set during our shows, the talks that we have before our podcast, where the So What You Think podcast, the talks before and after we do some recording. We talk about everything from life, culture, faith, and I think, you could truly see that Legend sees from the idea of trying to just see more like Jesus, be more like Jesus. And I think when that is the case, it becomes less about being a great CHH artist, and it's more just about being a hip-hop artist, and you say things that are Christian, you do things that are Christian because it's in your DNA.
Oh yeah, this is my middle school, where I went to middle school from, I think it was like 5th grade, whatever, to 3rd. And we was the first graduating 8th grade class. My man Aaron used to live on this block over here. My man Deshaun used to live over there. My man Chris over there. We all used to, just link up, especially in front of the school, because we had to meet at 8 o'clock in the morning because we were the senior class, so we had our own secret entrance. But middle school was a dope time. Bunch of family and friends, and then this room down here, 102, was the music room, and we did choir. When I used to sing in the choir before my voice dropped and stuff like that, and then we used to do drums, and just a dope time in the journey that is music.
One of the biggest wow moments for me when he was a child was when he participated in an actual tribute to the principal who was retiring, and he sat down at the piano, and I saw him playing the piano with both hands on the keys, playing like he had had lessons all his life. And I was his mom, but I was literally flabbergasted because I didn't know that he was capable of doing that. So that was awesome to see.
Early on, there were some moments where I was discouraged and my self-esteem was attacked, or I felt like it was being attacked, just simply because there were moments that warranted the question for me: am I good enough? Am I not good at what I'm doing? And the thing was, I remember playing at church, and it was me and another drummer, and we used to split shifts, but oftentimes it seemed like they got more time than I did, and it used to just discourage me a lot. I used to wonder, man, and question, God, am I not good enough? And I think I used to do that, and it hit home for me so much because I care so much about music, and I cared and gratefully respected what God had given me, and I just wanted to share it with everybody and him. So when I didn't get those moments to play and just be joyful, it hurt. It felt like just like somebody was just ripping the Band-Aid off over and over again. And you talk about this is like a 9-year-old, 10-year-old kid with a bunch of with a zeal and passion. I remember, going, upstairs to the the dining room area. Sometimes just like, crying it out, man. Just like, man, why they don't want me, man? why am I not, why am I not getting, I guess, the moments of the reps? And I remember days where my mom used to come up and like, yeah, man, like you got something, like, don't let someone stop you, or like, God is giving you something. My grandma encouraged me, like, boy, you better play them drums, or you better play them keys. And just like, family members are coming up and encouraging me. And I'm glad God gave me the ability to persevere through all that. And what I realize now in my maturity are those moments help motivate me. I've always said that you can allow something to motivate you or devastate you. And those moments have made me almost like a war-tested veteran, where things are, I guess, not necessarily going the way that one should think they should, or when maybe you're not getting the reception from the crowd that you think you should. Like, you just keep on going, and if God gave it to you, like, don't doubt it.
What have you learned about not having a microwave?
Long suffering is a real thing. Patience, fruit of the spirit is a real thing. Thank God for provision. Say that. I'm really trying to make something to help bring hope to people, man. Especially in times like this where you feel like you're stuck at home and you don't really know what's going on. Just really trying to be creative and be different and bring some life. Understanding what hope is. That's why the EP is called Hope. Just really, like, these are songs about hope, ideas that came pretty fresh. And I figured, like, yo, man, just go for it. Just jump in the booth, see what happens. And I just wanted to go and be creative and help bring songs that would be an inspiration to people and inspire people to understand that God hasn't forgotten about you. God still cares. God still loves you. You can make it through it, and like, He's never failed His people. So that's the whole perspective of this project that's coming up, and I just really wanted to be a source of light. Let that light that we have inside of us, let us like wear that with honor, and also, like, illuminate what we see. Or the areas that we see. So this is a whole perspective behind, like, the EP and, like, the creating process of what's going on. So yeah, man. Back to the lab. The standing ovation days. Oh man. Yo, those are some funny days looking back at it.
Standing ovation. I would say, like, okay, now, people always say, like, when you want to do something, just start it. Don't worry about how it is. Don't worry about what it sounds like. Don't worry about how good it is. If you mess up, you continue to do it. And I know the Word of God says, don't despise these small beginnings. And I say that scripture to say, like, we should never despise small beginnings, because I would definitely say that that group was small beginnings.
Standing ovation was that was a crazy time, honestly. Growing up, you know what I'm saying, like having this group, having this rap group. He was definitely the engine for it. You see what I'm saying? Definitely the engine. Mind you, like, again, he's the one kicking out the beats. You know what I'm saying? We not rapping on nothing. We not getting studio time if it wasn't for Kenny. He the one who knew the studio guy. He the one who knew how to put the beats together. He the one who was just strategic about it. We had two other people, myself. We all put the lyricism on him. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be showmen, and we gonna try to do what we gonna do. But at the end of the day, it's like, okay, Kenny gonna hold us down. Legends is gonna hold us down from a lyrical standpoint.
We were just hungry, man. We just wanted to do something different and use our gifts, and just really be authentic to hip hop, be authentic to music. And we had some ideas that were great. We had some ideas that were just You know, your beginners stages. I remember one time we showed up to an event and we all had matching outfits, man. It was so bad.
Like, I could remember, I loved them and I supported them because that's my husband and John, my little brother, and you know, they had their other friends and stuff, and I was supporting them and I was there for them. But I understand that at that time, they were, that's what they thought. That's the lyrics that they came up with. You know, but I'm thankful that they had to go through what they had to go through with those, with that time.
Man, it was so bad. We all had black V-necks and cargo shorts and snapbacks with our with our artist names on them. With our, you know what I mean? So I had one that said Legend, and you know, Say So had one at his time. He was known as Jin.
But it's just funny to see how much we grew. You know what I mean? From dressing the same at a concert to I mean, me, it was definitely my thought. I thought we were the first Christian rappers ever, like no question. To like, it made me falling through a door at a concert, and just still trying to figure out who we are, right? At the same time, professing this faith in an artistic way. Kenny found a way to be able to lead while still being a friend and find himself all in the same time.
But we showed up to the event with matching outfits, and you know, the whole thing is at the end of the day, even though we look like a pair of just like nerds, we showed up to the event and rocked it and killed it, and people began to grow respect for our music.
So looking back, I feel like Standing Ovation had its time and had its place for us, because without that, you mean, like, you look at him now running labels, making beats for people, producing. Who would have say how he would be now if he didn't get the opportunity before to micromanage a group? You mean that he was also a part of? So that's Standing Ovation for him.
I think we were just trying to do something different, especially for the church that we grew up in, and also like, yo, be authentic to who God made us to be in hip hop. You know, we had Christ Coming Back, which was, you know, our cover of Tupac's Back. That was a song that was popular at the time. So this is going back. And then, you know, we had ideas. Like I used to make beats on the keyboard, and I didn't have a studio or anything at the time set up. So what I used to do is I used to record the beats on my keyboard. And you know, our first time we went to the studio, I guess together, or one of the first times, man, went to a studio on South Street. Shout out to LDB. Paid for some studio time there, and we recorded you know, a song called Spaz. And also, man, I used to just go there and, you know, I used to lay the beats out for my keyboard. I had ideas and I know how to play it, but I didn't know the technical side of it at that point. And you know, shout out to my man Mike Moore. You know, he used to walk me through it, and we had our first set of beats. We had our first set of beats where we had songs like ROA and Living Water and some other stuff, man. We were just guys who were just trying to get it and finding our way in our lane. But I think we just wanted to just go and do it.
Yeah, so I met Legend about 8 years ago at my church. We were at this thing called Hoops with a Purpose, and him and his brother came and they did freestyle for us. And at the time was Standing Ovation. Standing Ovation, the humble beginnings of TSW was Standing Ovation. But the cool part was that even when I was listening to his music then, there was such a presence to it.
Man, we just went ahead and we got blessed with opportunities, and we had some a show that was like out of state once or twice. We went to Baltimore. So like, yeah, man. But thank God for growth. Thank God for growth. And I feel like, you know, you definitely grow in your craft, and growth is important. Growth is a beautiful thing. And you live life and you don't grow, and are you really living life? You know what I mean? So that's something that's beautiful. but thank God for the early days. You gotta thank God for the embarrassing moments too, man. And even see God in those embarrassing moments, man. At that time, you know, we were learning and growing, but at the same time, you can still look back and reflect on those moments and see like how much passion you had, and just you were just doing it before you started caring about numbers and all that other stuff. And I thank God for those days. But yeah, those are some those are some interesting days.
Standing ovation was the beginning, and Robert's ambition was the middle, reaching to where he is now. Because Robert's ambition, it was nothing like standing ovation. Of course, it could have been better, but I'm thankful that he did, you know, go forth with it and put it out, because it was a lot of healing messages on Robert's ambition. There was a lot of strong, convicting messages as well. And I was like, he really grew up in his music. He really grew up in the way he produced his music, in the way his lyrics came, and in the way he opened up his messages. So I was like, standing ovation was the beginning, and Rebel's ambition was like the middle.
And then when we got to Rebel's ambition, you saw someone hungry to just be creative from a lens of seeing as a believer. Like, you know, it was CHH, but it was something different too.
What shows up, the show, you know, especially it being the first time as an individual being in front of an audience like that. I think fear can kind of try to, you know, disrupt your momentum, but it's like, yo, man, you gotta get on that stage and just have that mentality, like, yo, man, just go for it. If you stand there and do nothing, then you look like an idiot. And if you go up there and just are confident in what God gave you, you know, then it's a win. And I'm thankful for that show and that experience, and this helped push me to who I am today, and will continue to. Rose Ambition comes out 2015, first project ever, and that was my rookie project. In building, we wanted to build a team, and you know, we had plans, and so Rose Ambition comes out 2015. That was an exciting experience for me, because it was just like, man, like finally having that ability to record.
The man came out in 2014, I think it was around 2014, 2013, around that time with Rebel's Ambition. And the crazy part is, like, there was a lot of growth since then. However, that album was still good. You know what I mean? That album still got bangers on today, but he didn't take it and just be satisfied with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he knew, okay, yo, I can clean this up. I can do this here. I can say this better. My approach can be different.
So 2015, letting that John rock out. And I'm not a guy who believes in force creating at all. So, you know, I think maybe I'm not even trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I think I am good enough of an artist, or God has granted me ability where if I wanted to just make music, I could, but that's just not how I'm wired. I believe in doing things that are purpose driven and have a point.
To me, there's still tracks on Rebels Ambition that's like, yo, all right, cool. Like that is passing the test of time. But obviously the production got better. I feel like that's one of the best things. Like for Legend, after the standing ovation thing kind of went down, his lyricism always been there, right? And it just kept growing and steadily growing. With the project Rebels Ambition, it was like the production that like was you know what I mean, like learning stuff out like that. But then you see a complete flip to Invictus now.
And I think what's cool about Invictus is I believe it's like the seeds that were planted by Rebels Ambition came to fruition in Invictus. You know, all that work that he put in, all that creativity, all that grind, really came out in this. You know, I think it's, you know, he's hit a maturity, not just in his faith, but knowing him as a brother, I get to see the man that I like kind of grew over those 8 years.
To where it's like, mind you, Rebels Ambition is hard to play in the car because whoever was mixing the John, you know what I'm saying? They ain't really do what they was doing. I be bumping Invictus now, and it's fine to hear, it's fine to listen to, it's not making my ears bleed. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the production, like whoever did the production, and he learned how to be everything that he needed.
You know, and there's a lot of important songs on it. I think, you know, we see songs like We Matter. You know, when we see songs, even songs like Save Me, which is just something I feel like is a very slept on track. You know, we have these really important topics that are needed in our current climate, our current community, when it comes to hip hop and when it comes to just culture in general. You know, I have the privilege of being on the interlude King Stream with my poem Colorblind, and I think that the cool part about that was actually that he was creating the interlude at the time, and I started talking to him about Colorblind and what it meant to me, and I started kind of just going off the cuff, and he's like, no, we're gonna record it, hold on. And so we kind of just we actually built it in studio, and there's nothing like that. Like, you know, me and Legend talk about all the time, when you're in the studio, it's like being in the barber shop times 2, you know. There's just stuff conversations that happen, moments that happen that you can't replace.
I've seen a lot of growth in Kenny from the time that he started at church with the group called Standing Ovation to him branching off, and even though he was still collabing with some of the people from Standing Ovation, he was doing his own projects like Rebels Ambition and Invictus. He's grown lyrically. His songs have so much impact and really resonate with what's going on, and really touches deeply on various faith aspects. I can say this especially in regards to the album Invictus. I can honestly say, even, you know, people may say that I'm biased, but it's actually not biased at all. There were several songs on Invictus that got me through some rough periods over the last year, where I was listening to them quite often, especially you know, songs that talked about hope, and just it's been a real pleasure to see his growth, not only creatively but just lyrically, how he just literally explodes with the words as he performs the songs, and it's something I'm extremely grateful for, that growth, because the projects are deep and they're profound, and they have a lot of significance and impact on people when they listen.
I feel like there were certain things that were needed during Rebel's ambition, because he was a rapper, right? He was a lyricist. So in his eyes, it was like I need a singer, right? I need an engineer. I need a producer. And Invictus, 4 years passed, and he's like, yo, like, if I can't find these people who are to the standard that I want them to be, or whatever the case may be, I'm just gonna have to become it myself, right? So that's what you see in Invictus. Half of those beats, if not all of those beats, is made by him. A lot of it was mixed down by him. He let friends touch it up here and them, but he was doing mixing. He was learning mixing. He was singing on those tracks. He was also writing on the tracks. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like the evolution of him came in his whole approach on music in general, as opposed to just, okay, I'm a rapper, boom. He became his own vehicle, essentially.
I remember just kind of like getting like the itch to write again, but it wasn't, I didn't have anything to really, I guess, to pull from. I knew I wanted to create because that's what I do, and I saw Creed. It was 2016. Saw Creed, and Creed was one of the first movies that, especially in a while, that made me just instantly want to go see it again. The first time I seen it, and as soon as I went home, I started thinking I got some inspiration.
How I see Legend as a writer, I truly believe that it comes from experiences, because by me being his wife and being around him often, I know that a lot of his lyrics came from experiences.
I think if I can say one thing about Invictus, just right off the cuff, is that it's important. I think what he has to say is important. I think not just for us as a culture, not just for us as people, but I think for him as someone who has grown into this and even past it. So I'm just excited about what's next.
Invictus to me is definitely powerful. It's definitely healing, and it's definitely a whole bunch of worship. And I'm just thankful that God can use this man to bring other people to him, and understand that God can still use you and whatever gift that you have if you truly lay it at his feet.
On the King James, I promise, I ain't living for your comments. Ain't tossed and turn and losing sleep at night. Your opinion ain't on my conscience. No nonsense, just got it. What they think we forgot it? King's world over your opinion, I promise there ain't no problem. Never follow the crowd, it's always crowded. Walk around outside it. Been dead outliners. Why them boys so defiant? Since day one, been a renegade. Never finished chains, never unashamed. I'm at the beam when I was. No, Squidward, no. In here, I grew a beard. Feel like Tom Hanks in Castaway. But we here working at 3 a.m. I'm playing. Don't people always say that when they just it's some random time. It's actually like 7 something.
Right.
It's like 6.
And the funny part, it's like take 8, and it's only because he's a perfectionist.
Right. It's like 6:35.
Right.
It's not early or that late. I didn't eat dinner yet, but
it's literally.
We'll say 3 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can go back.
That's why we got these amazing curtains,
Right.
so you can't tell what time it
Yes,
is.
it's 3 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm dedicated to the music, so
We're gonna edit this so you think it's 3 in the
I
morning.
gotta go. I'm gonna put 3 a.m. in the morning, and I'm gonna cross it out. Like, nope, it's really 6:38. Time to get it. 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm probably messing up because I'm sleepy. Cause
Yeah.
it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We can pull that off.
Yeah. All right. Kool-Aid is my coffee.
Indeed.
Alright. So, you better lose your stuff? Okay, let's get it. Check. Yeah. On the King James, I promise, I ain't living for your comments. Ain't tossing, turning, losing sleep at night. Your opinion ain't on my conscience. No nonsense, just doubt it. What they think we forgot it? King's will over your opinion, I promise there ain't no problem. Never follow the crowd, it's always crowded. Walk around outside it, being dead outliners. Why them boys so defiant? Since day one, been a renegade, never finna change, never unashamed. Mom's at the beam with an open lane. When I rise up, you know I'm finna bang. Yes sir, never grinded by your limits. Never live by your restrictions. Out here trying to be a light. Out here trying to be a difference. Never one for pretending. All fact, no fiction. I don't listen to the critics. Never listen to their whispers. No matter who you are, there's always somebody with something to say. When you in the jungle, been the face of snakes. But I love the haters who love to hate. Been an outcast, been out of place. Give me 808s and now I'm 8OK. Running with the game, trying to chase the game. Never been your slave, cause... Got it.
That's it.
Take 8. New beginnings, baby. New beginnings. Come here and play back. I probably won't like it, but here we go. You think this is bad? Say so's worse.
You should see Salas.
Yeah. On the King James, I promise. I ain't living for your comments. Ain't tossing, turning, losing sleep at night. Your opinion ain't on my conscience. No nonsense, just doubt it. What they think we forgot it? King's will over your opinion, I promise there ain't no problem. Never follow the crowd, it's always crowded. Walk around outside it, being...
You already know you don't like it, huh? Is that the
Either that or the energy. So I can get more energy on it tape. So yeah, in the process in between, you know, I was gone for like 4 years.
So here's my problem with Legend. Not now though. I'm proud of him now. But my biggest problem with him was he would wait so long to put out music. Like so long. But at the same time helping everybody on the back end of their music. You know what I mean? Which I just found crazy. And it just speaks to his character, honestly, about how humble he is, how much he wants to see other people win. I know a lot of people who say, yo, I'm trying to see you eat too, I'm trying to do this and the third. But they lying. You know what I'm saying? But they lying. But he's legit real about it.
You know, I also think, you know, his drive as a entrepreneur, I mean, you know, starting TSW, I still remember the moment we had our conversation about TSW. He called me and we were talking on the phone about Campfire, our first gig all together. And he was talking to me about Campfire. And I was kind of just giving him some insight. We were kind of hitting some things back and forth. And I was like, yeah, man, you know, I love that you've included me. He's like, well, you're already part of the team. And I'm like, oh, I am. So, you know, it's kind of where it all started there. This idea of just, you know, kind of walking this out. And I'm just excited. I'm excited about a team. But knowing that his heart went into creating something that went beyond a team, it almost felt like family behind the scenes, but to other people looked like these legitimate artists. You know, when we play shows, when we drop music, there's almost a mistake that there could be something I would say above our level, in the sense of how we almost project ourselves to be above, so that way the bar is always set. And he's the captain, man. He's always been. And I think that his heart in that shows in Invictus. His heart for growth, his heart to make change, his heart to build something. It all shows in Invictus.
There was so much going on between, you know, wanting to build a team and really get a strong team and strong, you know, roster put together, and then also like, okay, like really like building a foundation of like what it is you want to do, and you know, building our shows and building our platforms and, you know, releasing other projects. And again, I ain't just want to release just anything. You know, I appreciate the longevity of those who stayed and rocked with me, and even like the longevity of Rebels Ambition. The crazy part is the stuff I was writing on for Invictus, a lot of it kind of spoke to future things I would go through, or even stuff that I was going through at the time.
Like in the time period where he started writing Invictus, you know, we lost our apartment. You know, it was a time where I was doing a temporary position. I didn't have a stable job. You know what I mean? So he had to, you know, pick up the slack and pay the bills. So it was just him.
And you know, it was a mixture of both. It was a you know, a jumbo pot of just a multitude of things. And you know, a lot of stuff on Invictus was me speaking to people from a standpoint of empathy, but also later on I would see that it would be me speaking to myself. We'll run through some stuff, man, where, you know, lost some family members. You know, what my wife's side of the family lost some family members. Lost some family members on, I guess, my side of the family. You know, had transitioned churches, which, you know, which was big for me because I was a part of the church that I grew up at for about 22 years of my life. So I literally grew up there, going to a multitude of churches, trying to find your lane and find a niche or a church home where you can be all that God called you to be, between all this kind of like chaos in these moments, and just trying to persevere through that, and seeing just God use all that to create what he had.
Like some people thrive off of hurt, and they will put hurt in their music. Some people thrive off of joy, and they'll put joy in their music. Some people put any area in their life and they'll make a song out of it. In that category, I think that's Kenny. That's just the way he's wired. Like, you put him in a situation and he's going to find greatness out of it. And I think that's such a beautiful aspect to have.
Invictus has a different feel from Rebels Ambition. It's the same guy, but that guy is much matured and seasoned, and man, like, knows like who he is in God. And if I can help anybody get to that point, that was my goal. That was my main goal, my main pursuit to do so. Invictus got done, let me see, around the latter stages of 2019. It was done around the latter stages of 2019. And you know, the crazy part is, like, even as long as it took to come out, one of my things is like, man, I wonder if people still gonna rock with me, those who rock with me. I wonder if people gonna approach or appreciate this growth that I feel like I've you know, grown in or maturated in. The reception I got off of it was like just remarkable to me. The fact that people still care was something that was like, it's like awe-inspiring, man. And people respected the grind, and people were able to resonate with it.
This album is different. look at you see my eyes?
Yep.
This album is different.
I'm just trying, man.
It's really different.
It's different.
Wait, that's your deep face?
No.
I think it is.
Emotional.
Is that different?
We're here.
I'm just
Congratulating him, bro.
Yeah. Congratulating him, bro. What?
He made it.
Yeah,
He made it.
It's not even out yet.
All of it. 100%.
You're there.
Yeah.
You're there.
It's done, though.
It's complete.
It's done.
Complete.
Wait, what am I
the
doing?
finished work.
Yeah, it's done.
Hallelujah, the finished work, okay?
How do I do that with you?
The finished work.
I might
Girl,
well
I
have
just got the
this
camera on.
How
But you see, now you don't. Look at David Black. They moving like friend, but he staying with it. Never been a man, but I can What is this? Let's go. Legend got 2 verses, y'all. No, I might do 2 verses. We got a remix for y'all. Remix for your head tops coming real soon to you. What?
There's no legend without God and family. Thankful to who God has placed in my life. Extremely grateful for my wife being extremely supportive and a teammate and an encourager. To just the entire team. And this doesn't happen without them. And hope doesn't happen without them. I'm just thankful for everybody he's placed in my life. So many people to name. But I'm thankful for, my whole entire team. Really consider them family. And I can never say thank you enough. But publicly, I thank all y'all, man.
We on go.
We got these Kingdom wings, you know what I'm saying? Kingdom cravings.
Amen.
John's about to be fired. My man Tommy made the sauce.
Amen.
My man Tommy right there, you know what I mean?
Amen.
My brothers.
White Wolf.
You know what I'm saying? My brothers, not even with a T. It's a V. You know what I mean?
My brothers.
Yeah, my brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Brothers.
Eating these Kingdom wings, you know what I mean? That
BRUV. Brothers.
BRUVA.
Brothers.
H, brothers. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even tried the wings yet because I'm talking about
the wolf sauce.
The wolf sauce, you know what I'm saying?
With the wolf sauce.
The wolf sauce, and I'm talking these Jones up by faith.
Amen.
I already know they gonna be good. With my brothers, you know what I'm saying?
Brothers.
You know what I mean? My brothers, you know what I mean? My brother right here got married. He
Amen.
happy. My brother holding the camera, he about to be happy. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
sir. One
I'm
week.
married and happy. You know what I mean? It's happy. You know what I mean?
It's happy.
So it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Brothers.
Don't try to run up on the wolf pack. You know what I mean? Kingdom wings. What's up? You know what I mean? You can cut it. You cut that, y'all. You gonna keep it going? No. Yeah. So.
He said amen.
So I'm singing amen, amen. Take that, just make that a beat by itself. So that's that. Who was that? I don't know. So, Hope is a project that came about, actually not on purpose, and. Let me say this: it wasn't pre-planned. I remember I was talking to a good homie of mine. Shout out to Paradox. He was like, "Yo, man," he's like, "It took me 12 years. It took you 4." He's like, "No more waiting, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, you know what I mean? No more waiting." And I was doing stuff in the meantime those 4 years, but it was some time before I dropped the project, and I was just gonna see where that led me and find out where the inspiration was gonna come. And I had some opportunities come up, some stuff in LA, some stuff in Texas, some other stuff out of state. And then we run into the pandemic, and the pandemic started to take away certain opportunities and certain things, and and the thing was, it was especially early on, and even now, it was so much of an unknown of where do we go from here. What are we doing? And I think it was a season where God was really just allowing people to see what they were focused on, what their priorities were, and being a creative, ideas just started coming, and they started coming, and the thing is, man, like for me, I don't write anything down. Most of the lyrics I write are in my head. So I wasn't just getting full-fledged verses or whatever. I was getting full-fledged songs, and I'm like, okay, God, like it gotta be something that you want me to say, or you want to move in this way. Live in the studio now, about to lay down this track. One of the last tracks that actually came to fruition on the album. Now it's an album. It's no longer just an EP. It's kind of grown into something that I didn't see coming, but just chose to be obedient and just let it happen, man. And excited for what the music that's coming, man. I just hope to be impactful and inspire people, man, to keep that hope. So I've been documenting, trying something new, and just wanted to give like a little bit more of an interactive experience. Here in the Spacitory, that's what we call the studio. Just trying to just hammer out and create and be a vessel. So man, prayerfully this is impactful and people are impacted by it, and thankful to all you who are watching this and enjoying the journey with me. Appreciate it. So done. And at first it was just gonna be EP. You know what I mean? It was gonna be EP because I believe, music is a language within itself, and it helps heal. And it was gonna be EP. I was like, man, it's not gonna be nothing long. But then God just kept having stuff come, and I was like, okay, like it's something major happening, because I was getting full-fledged songs and like just knocking them out, do, and it was like, okay, yeah, there's something you wanna do with this, and it's important for all of us to have hope.
So I feel like that's the evolution. The lyricism has always been there. The message has always been there, and I don't think it's going to change. But he even got better with that. He found a way to get new pockets of flow, and just found a way to convict people even more, tell a story even more. The bars are even more stupider, but crisp, because he's tightening things up even more than what he did before. But as music goes, he evolved from the technical standpoint and the musical standpoint.
As far as hope goes, the new project, I'm so excited. I'm excited for what you guys have to hear. Everything that's going on with the pandemic that shall not be named, everything that's going on with culture, politically, the climate, how it's stressful, racially, how divided our country is. I think hope is something needed in general, and the album is just as needed. Just being able to be on his second project this year was awesome. We went from recording in bathrooms and Rebel's Ambition to kind of having rigged up studios in different locations to how having our own studio. I mean, there's only up from here, and I'm excited about not just Invictus, not just the impact it can have, but hope. And I think the need that is hope right now. And I think he's, we as believers, we're called to see the need and then do something about it. And I think he has with this album.
Hope to me is a project of deliverance. You gotta trust God. It's gonna be some times when you wanna walk away from God, but in those times you gotta come closer to God. Me listening in on Hope a little bit, I don't want to tell you exactly what's on the project, but it's one song that him and Leah Wren is doing, and it's so beautiful. Not only the fact that she has a beautiful voice, but it's just the range of the song is just so powerful. But you're gonna hear it, and I know that it's gonna take you into an element of worship. Because that's one thing that I love about Kenny, is that he's a worshiper. He may not sing, but when he does do his music, he makes sure that he has some worship in it so we can give it all to God. Because worship is different from praise. Worship is giving your all to God. Worship is letting God know, I love you, I need you, I serve only you. And there's nothing wrong with praise, but we got to get in the habit of worshiping God. Just because he raps, just because someone does poetry, just because someone does, music and dance, doesn't mean that you can't give that time and worship to Jesus. And And that's one thing I love about Kenny's project, because each and every one of them, he has some type of worship on there. And you can only worship God in spirit and in truth. And that's one thing I love about Legend, is that he's going to give you that worship, and it's going to hit you hard. Hope is a story of deliverance, a story of hope, a story of protection, knowing that God is always going to be with you. And I can't wait to hear it.
You know, hope is essential. Like, hope is a vital tool. You know, scripture says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. And you know, hope is a positive outcome or outlook of optimism on a situation and a circumstance. Faith is the evidence of that. So understanding, like, through my hope, because I have an optimistic outlook, and faith is the evidence of what God has done and what He will continue to do, I'm able to see better days are ahead. And you know, hope may not be talked about enough, but it's vital. And it said those who believe in God must believe that He is God, and He rewards those who seek Him diligently. And it's like, man, like, if I believe God is who He says He is, and my hope and my faith are, you know, tethered and tied to Him, like, I can't lose, man, despite what it looked like. And understanding, man, like, even in me having hope, you know, God empathizes with me. Jesus empathizes with me, man. Like, even when he wept for Lazarus, man, he wasn't crying because he couldn't heal him, or he wasn't crying because he didn't have hope. He was crying because he empathized, but he already knew the verdict. And man, like, that's not saying that you won't go through situations where you're like, man, I don't know. But once you get over what you don't know and understand who you know and who does know, then, you know, that's where your hope is derived from. It's always, you know, a vital tool. And you always gotta fight for hope. There are gonna be situations in life that'll come to try and take your joy and your peace and your state of mind, but you gotta fight for that hope and remember where your hope comes from when you have that relationship with God, and you get through anything, man. And that's the goal, to remind people of, like, whose they are. And once you know whose you are, then you really get to know who you are, and fight for that hope. And, like, it's important, so it's vital. And yeah, that's I guess that's it.